When you come out, um, cold air return. I made the laundry chutes doors because they had all been broken and put like a stop in them. You know, and all the molding and the lights and the hard wiring for this, the alarm system and the lighting was integrated. So that then you come out in the hallway at night, the motion sees you and it would automatically bring up the lights. This had to do a threshold because the floor is built up with 2 layers of 3/4 inch plywood with no continuous seams. And this is the bathroom that I ended up building. I marked a couple of airs, you know, where I saw with the lights in next to it. You can see the pencil line. And then was doing like another coat, and then I found out that without any notification or process, that the house was just took from me and sold at auction, and I was never notified about any of it. So that's why I'm filming it. But these are speaker wires. They go up in the ceiling. There's a light fixture that shifts the eye, and you could put the speakers in. That's the hookup for a clawfoot tub that would sit here at the end. And then I'd put a mirror across this back wall, would sit a mirror. The walls are all, here you listen. The walls are built with plywood, and then first 2x4, 2x6 to make a strong back, then plywood, and then a layer of silicone, and then sheetrock, so that it's actually quieter, more quiet than the old plaster lathing. And all the walls were shot with foam. Inbuilts for everything you need, like I was in the process of making the doors for it. The one light switch is for above the bathtub, and this is so that you could hang like a TV here and you'd have cable and internet to it. And then this is the night light that would come up for about behind the toilet. I did the door to the swing to the toilet because then, you know, with like a bunch of sisters and stuff, when you come into the bathroom, if you were sitting on the toilets as the person's opening the door, they're making a shield, and so you'd have like a little more time. And since some of the lights are automated, it's not that big of a deal. You got a fan, 130 CFM, but listen to it. Nice and quiet. So even with the sinks going on, I guess on the plumbing, we'll come around this way and I'll show you something pretty cool. So I started moving things out, and then I was like, well, I better show. So there was an old hatch here, and so I rebuilt it with this door that I made. And you can see like here's going to be the new controls for the magnetic hold for the door to make a fire break. But behind it, that's where the trap for the tub would go, and you still have access. All the walls were lined with Mylar. You can see the closed cell foam that was in shot, and then these are balancing loops made out of 1 inch. So you have a hot and a cold manifold, and that's the vent stack for the drain of the tub. But you can see the plywood. So the external walls are made with 3/4 inch pressure treated plywood, and the internal walls are 1/2 inch OSB because it's more dimensionally stable. But you can see the numerous layers of plywood going across to make the deck, you know. And you can see like this is the cold and this is the hot, and they're all bonded and grounded, and I left a couple takeoffs. I don't know what you'd ever need to add. But the beauty of that balancing loop is then if you come over to and obviously all these recessed panels and the whole staircase I took out and ended up rebuilding, and the handrails and everything else. And so this has wiring in it down here. There's a circuit so that you could have a heated towel bar that sat here. The frame for a stained glass window is already built for up here. And then this is the access so that if you ever needed to service the shower valve, everything you would need is right here. But because of those balancing loops, here I'll show you something. We'll turn on the water. That water is on full. That water is on full. Now in the shower over here, you got a built-in, and the thing, it was going to get a stained glass window across the top. You'd have one here, and then a sliding glass door. And the ceilings, you know, a lot of marble. It's all marble. But if you turn on you have a heat control on the one side, and then you have over here another build out. That was to put your foot up on, you know, for like ladies when you're trying to shave your legs. But you have another control. If you notice, like, none of the water pressure is changing. So even with all that running, if I flush a toilet, see how there was no change in the water pressure? And that balancing loop, like here, and that balancing loop means that, like, whatever temperature you had going on at your shower, it doesn't matter what was going on with a sink or something. And what else? These behind it have built up like laminate beams that I made to help carry the weight of the third floor bathroom, however I built it. And then this was a tree that my brother Choice ended up falling, and I used two of the pieces to finish trimming it to cover it up. And you know, like custom jams because they're wider. Over here would be the doorway to that bedroom that's getting worked. And you can see the wall with the 1/2-inch plywood, the silicone, the sheetrock. It also got painted with intumescent paint, so you could have a fire of like 2,000 degrees and it wouldn't ever leave the room. So, hey there. So you have this. This was going to get a glass shelf that sat here. And then you had like another shelf. The HVAC for the room sits here, so the bottom of this is a big balancing box. And then the vents run up the back. And then to the third floor, it comes over here. So hot chases cold. So because that has 3 ducts coming to 2 rooms, whichever room needs the heat or whichever room needs the air conditioning more would get it. So it would always be balanced out. This was like a little linen closet. So like the stuff you could plug in. The outlet for here and here is on a timer here, so you just would push your timer and you could have your curling irons on for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you needed, and then it would pop off. Up here you have a constant outlet, and then a light, and all of it's, you know, structural, so it's not ever going to go anywhere or sag, and it's LED, and you'd have like a little light switch that you could turn off and on. What else? Is that everything? So this is that bathroom that I was in the middle of the remodel of this, and the county told the only statement that the judge said to me directly, as a stay-at-home housewife whose breadwinner abandoned the marital home, and I had no running water, no electricity, no food, was if I loved my kids, I would finish this bathroom remodel. Somehow teaching my kids that they're less important than stuff like a bathroom remodel. It's just insane. But I think it came out really lovely. So, and there's a floor stop on the floor, and it's the low flush toilets. And even on this interior wall, you can still see like the build out was still plywood, framed plywood, sheetrock. So, and all the walls, whether it's the floor was insulated with foam and Mylar, the walls were, like there wasn't the ceiling, internal walls at all, ended up getting it. 3-way dimmable switches, so you can dim it from both locations, that are integrated with the lighting circuit. Alright. Well, you wanna, I guess we'll just leave it there at that was the bathroom. And then, no, Katie, Leah, Michael, I'm sorry you never got to see it or hang out over here. I miss you and I love you. And in no way was any of this more important than you love.